Hello everyone, this is Ashish and welcome again to my PowerShell Basics tutorial. So today is the 19th day of this tutorial and we will be talking about PowerShell module development. So let's start our session for today. So PowerShell modules are the way of uh, you know having code reusability in your PowerShell scripting environment. So what it is like, so far you have learned how to create PowerShell scripts, and you can make use of functions in your PowerShell script to kind of bind a logic within a function, just like any other programming language. And when you create functions, you probably create one set of action for a specific task, and as your script grows, you might have multiple functions, and these functions might be related to a particular domain, a particular application, or a particular aspect of your day-to-day job. So for example, a module for Active Directory, so that has been developed by Microsoft, which you can use for doing tasks related to Active Directory, like getting all the Active Directory users, or setting password for Active Directory users, or any day-to-day administration job. So they have created the module for you that that is there, which is specifically contains functions for your Active Directory task. Now, on the same line, you have this kind of logic you might need over a period of time, that you are creating functions, and now those functions needs some resources specific to certain list of function task, and those functions are enclosed within a script. And now you think that, sending the script and then prerequisite for running that script, setting up some environment, setting up some DLL file, setting up some other information before running that script, is kind of not something you would like to have. Instead, PowerShell gives you an option, that is a module, which you can create, and you can encapsulate all these things into a PowerShell module, so that whenever a user loads that PowerShell module, so essentially we call it import. So once you import a PowerShell module, you have everything which was needed for this PowerShell script within that module. And within those scripts you have functions, so those functions will be able to run, and encapsulating or loading all the prerequisite or all the dependency and all is now handled by PowerShell module there. So let's go and let's see how a PowerShell module, what exactly a PowerShell module looks like, and how exactly you can use it. So if you try to run this command, get module list available, you will get lot of many number of PowerShell module listed on your computer. Some of them are pre-installed PowerShell module that comes with the PowerShell installation. Some of them can be a PowerShell module that you have kind of installed. So let's quickly go ahead and run this command here in my PowerShell IAC. So if I do, let's go to the other window, and if I do get module, right, get module, and I will say list available, and if I will run this command, it is running the command, and then it will list all the modules that I have installed on my computer. So probably it will give a long list of uh, so let's wait for some time. It will show you all the, yeah. So as you can see, it's a long list of modules that I have in my computer, and as you can see, it lists out the path of the modules that has been installed there. So I have a Sake module that helps you to build the script. I have a lot of many number of Azure module there, and then I have some of the ships, VS Team module there, Pester module is there. I have multiple version of Pester on my computer. And we have some inbuilt module like App Locker is one of the inbuilt module. And then so these are all modules, and essentially they contains list of command within that module. They are pretty much related to each other, most of them. So if I will talk about some module like Azure, suppose Azure Compute, then it will have all the modules related to all the functions related to or commandlets related to Azure Compute, that is Azure VM essentially. So that's how you kind of see list of available module on your computer. And suppose you want to see how what are the commands that you get from a particular module. So suppose I have there is a command that says that accepts module name. So suppose I say pester. I want to see what are the commands available with this module. And let's see. So if I will run it, it should give me all the list of command that is available in this particular module. So and then I can get help for that particular command, I mean using the visual helper, or maybe using the command line. So you can see that there are a lot of commandlets that gets exposed by this module. So this is how you kind of you can explore the modules available to you in your computer. Now, and this is how you can pretty much kind of, suppose I want to see the invoke waster help. So I can either use help from here, help invoke waster, right? And it will give me the help for it. Or I mean, this is pretty much you get in the console as well. Or you can make use of graphical user interface, and you can see invoke Pester, and I can see that I can click on help there, and I can see list of help available for this particular commandlet. So this is how you can make use of. This is pretty much basic for any other commandlet, whether it is inbuilt or within a particular module. But this is how you can kind of explore the available module either in your computer, or as a part of what I would say, you have installed some module, and then you can kind of explore that module as well. Now, talking about installing the module, there are a couple of ways you can install your module. I mean, you can have a private repository from where you can install your module, but pretty much you can install, public modules from PowerShell Gallery. So if you go here on Google and you just do this PowerShell Gallery, I should have the URL, but let's go the Google route. You will typically get this home page, and then if you will search any module over here, you will be able to kind of do, I mean, if it is available publicly, you should be able to get those module listed here in incoming sessions, probably, or in one of the online webinar, I will explain how to publish your own module here. So I mean, that is also possible. You can have your own module listed here if at all you have something that you want to share with the open source world, or publicly. So let's see, let's search some module here. Let's search the same pester module, that is a testing framework for PowerShell. So unit testing, if you're running unit testing in your PowerShell, if you want to do it, this is a very nice tool to do that. Now you can see that this is the alpha version, but essentially you have all the versions listed here. So whichever version you want, you can essentially install that. You can see that I have 4. I mean, you can have 4.9, 4.8, and to install that particular version, if you will click on this link, it will tell you how to install this particular version. Else, if you will do, if you will not mention this version, it will be installing the latest module that is available on the gallery. So this is how you can install your module, and pretty much that is installed by install module. And you can name the module, and you can get the name of the module from PowerShell Gallery, or the whole command itself. Now, when you install a module, it essentially register a PowerShell Gallery repository on your computer. If you will run it for the first time, it will take care of that part automatically. It will prompt you some question and you're supposed to answer them, and then it will automatically do that. But there will be some kind of custom work will be needed if at all you are trying to install it from a private repository. We will essentially in coming videos I will try to cover that part, but for the time being you can start pretty much you can start your module installation from PowerShell Gallery, and that is pretty much straightforward. Install module, name of the module, that's it. Sometime you might face issues. Go there on the module page. Most of the PowerShell module now they will have a GitHub page for them, like this particular pester module. If you will click on project site, it will redirect you to the GitHub repository. There you can explore the issues, and you will be able to see if there is any common issue that is being discussed and you are facing that issue, or you can open issues as well, just like any other open source collaboration. Since these days PowerShell is being kind of is being open source, so this kind of activity is pretty much appreciated from you as a user. So once you have installed your module, right, so you can pretty much use that module like any other any other commandlet. There you can find the module commandlet, just like I have said. You can get command module name, you get all the command, then you can use help for getting details of that command, pretty much like you do for any other commandlet in your PowerShell installation. So that's how it does. Now let's try to have a look on the internals of module. So let's go back to our PowerPoint, and here we have now import module. So now once you have a PowerShell module on your computer, you will have to import the module so that it can be loaded in your computer. Now if at all you have not installed some PowerShell module on your computer, then if you're getting it from somewhere and you want to use that, then probably you will have to first import it, then only you will be able to use it. Now let's see what do I mean by getting a PowerShell module, and I mean what do we mean by importing the module. Before that, let's try to have a look on a module. So module is, as I said, it is nothing but a modular PowerShell script file that you can use. So I already have the complete code, but before that, let's open a normal PowerShell file, right? And let's try to create a function over here. Yeah. So let's open my uh, let's open that on demo. There is a demo folder. I will demonstrate it using Visual Studio Code because that's one of the editor that is being used in all of the development nowadays. So it is good to have, hands on there. So I will create a new file over here, yeah, in this folder, and I will call it new file, and let's save it, yeah, with the name save as. So the name will be, suppose the name will be my demo mod, my demo. Suppose right now I have a PS1 file, so PS1 file only, no module, right? So I have a PS1 file. Let's go to the PowerShell, PowerShell, yeah. So I saved it, right? So I have a PS1 file. Now let's have a function over here. Simple function, nothing fancy over here. So I will say this, dollar $A and dollar $B. That's it. I mean, simple as that. And let's name it my, or approve word, maybe add add numbers add numbers, yeah, simple. add numbers. I have a function which add numbers and which expects two parameter. I will save it, right? Now, if I will run it, right? So my so if I will run it, does I mean does nothing, right? Let's try to access that function. It should not have. No, I would not get this now this function. If at all I want to use this function, and if at all I want someone to use this function, if it is a PowerShell file, then I have something called dot sourcing. So I will have to ask that guy to use dot sourcing, right? To open this file. So I will open it using dot sourcing. Now let's see if I'm trying to use the function, I will get it, right? And if at all I will pass the parameter, right? So it will, okay, we have not done anything, right? So first let's try to do something. So can a, yeah, plus $b, right? Simple. Just it will add these two numbers provided by parameter and return back. So again we have to kind of import it back, right? And then if I will do add number a3, it will give us the output of addition of these two numbers. Now this is pretty much, you can reuse the same PowerShell code, but it requires you, I mean it is pretty much dot sourcing, the first thing, which is not a recommended way of using PowerShell script, because without dot sourcing you won't be able to access this function. So what exactly the recommended way? So recommended way is save this file as a PowerShell module file. So we will save it by simply changing it with psm1 file. That's it, nothing else. So if you change this file as psm1, right? And if I will do import module, oops, import module, and I will give the name my demo, right? And I have imported. Now if I will, let's do one thing, control C. Yeah, I still have this thing in my memory, right? Yeah, so I will remove this thing, right? So let's kill this session, and I will restart the session, PowerShell session, right? So let's see, I should not have the function now, right? I don't have the function, right? So let's do one thing. To import a module, as I said, you use import module and the module file, right? My demo. The moment I import it, I should be able to use the function as it is, just like I did last time. But it was just, the difference was that it was a PowerShell script. Now it is a psm1 file that we call script module. So there are different types of module you have in your in PowerShell. One of them is script module. Very simple, just a normal PowerShell file. You import it using import module. That's it. Nothing fancy over here. But still, this is a script module. So, I mean, as the name suggests, it is a PowerShell function script which is acting like a module. So I mean, if you go ahead with the types of module you have, there are majorly four types of module. One is the what we are seeing right now. The another one is like uh, PowerShell manifest module. So what happens that you have a manifest file which controls the behavior of this module file, and how to generate that file. You simply do, before that, let's do one thing. Instead of this function, let's have a little bit of, I mean, the same thing but little bit different. So yeah, Control C. I mean the same thing, but there are two functions instead of one, and let's remove all these things, right? Let's remove everything else. Here we have add numbers, x plus y, subtract number x minus y. You can have few try catch if else all those things here. It is not a perfect function I would say, but it does the work. So we will go with it. So if I will save it, and then if I will import the module again, I should I should have subtract function now. So oops, sub n and oops, oh, it is not loading up. Probably should kill the restart. So we have this thing over here and control S again, import, import module, and my demo, right? Warning, the name of some imported module is included unproved, right? So this is not a approved verb. Now this is again another thing that you should take care of. Right now it is PS script analyzer behind the scene which is helping. We will talk about PS script analyzer in, I mean, in upcoming videos, but essentially it does analyze your script and find the rules that are being kind of you are not following some rules, then it will give the warning. So similar to something I'm getting. So there are, as you if you will follow my previous videos, you know that in PowerShell you have approved, you have verbs, and you have nouns. So this verb has some rules there from PowerShell. You should be following those rules. So there are some approved verb in terms of PowerShell module. So if I go here, approved PowerShell verbs, right? So if you are doing some module development or commandlet development, you should always refer this document and should see what are the verbs which are approved. As you can see, add is a approved word, but subtract is not an approved word. If I will search sub, there is no sub here, right? So that's why it is giving us the error. Right now we can we can kind of ignore it for the time being. So let's try to sub. So we are getting the function here, and the logic is x, suppose 5 minus y. Of course, this is not a perfect module, because if at all I will give the value of x more than value of y, it will not give the expected output. But for the time being, let's ignore that logic. Here we are focusing on more on the how the module is working, how you should start your module development or PowerShell commanded development. So this is how it will work. So as you can see, this is still a normal PowerShell script module. If at all you want it to have a PowerShell manifest file, so that it can be called as a PowerShell manifest module, that is majority of modules out there you will find. There are other types of module as well. Binary module is there. We will talk about that. But essentially this is what it is. You have this PowerShell module file, and you have a manifest file which kind of controls the behavior of this manifest file script. So okay, so new module manifest path. So path will be same, my demo my demo.psd1. That's the module manifest file format. Now then we have nested modules. So if any module that is part of your part of your this current module, then you can kind of mention here. For the time being, we will kind of skip this one option. This is not a mandatory option for at least starting your module development. So next is UID. We can still, kind of skip that one as well. Later on author, we have to have this field. So if we want to kind of publish it on the PowerShell Gallery, then you have this. What is happening? Author Ashish Raj, right? The next nested module UID, no company name. Maybe I will mention Azure DevOps Pro. By the way, that's our Telegram group for any kind of DevOps query. Advise you to join there. Now, next nested module, we will skip that. Copyright, we will skip that. Root module, the module which is kind of which is the which contains your function and all that you want to expose. So that will be our PSM1 file. So I will again mention my demo PSM1, right? And instead of double quote, I will mention it single quote. So it looks like due to some reason it is not getting the next parameter. And then next UID we can skip. Module version is very important. Module version is again very important if you kind of thinking of uploading it on PowerShell Gallery again. So there are some requirement if you want to upload it on PowerShell Gallery to make your module compatible. You need these many parameter at least. Nested module we can skip. Again, description is something we will like to have because that will describe what exactly this module is if at all we will give it to someone. So I will say it is a demo module, simple one. And then we have this nested module again, copyright processor architecture. If you want to restrict it to a processor architecture, if you want to restrict it to PowerShell version, so CLR version, all these things, we can skip all these options for the time being. Required module, again, if you want to have a required module there before loading this module. So let's skip all these options for the time being. These many options are enough to generate our PowerShell module file, that is PowerShell module manifest file. So if you can see, we have a PSD1 file, and if we double click it, you will see all these information listed here, whatever the information we have provided. The main information that I have not provided, one of the thing that has to be there, function to export and commandlet to export. As you can see right now it is star there. So what exactly it controls is whatever the function you have in your module, root module. So root module is my demo.psm1 that we have already mentioned in our root module parameter. So it will go there and it will export everything. Star means everything. That is not a, as you can see in the comment, do not use wildcard. So this is not the recommended way of doing it. So we should have mentioned function to export and or commandlet to export. There is a small difference between function and commandlet that we have discussed in some of the previous sessions. So I would recommend you to go there and watch. But if at all you want to have, I mean, you will always have a, listed number of functions that you want to export, that you want to have users to use, or commandlets. So it should not be a wildcard. That is the recommended, that is not a recommended way of exporting your functions there. Even though right now we have only two functions, it will not matter much, but still, just in case, suppose you just don't want this sub numbers function to be exposed to the user. Right now, if I will import this module, right now, suppose I want to import it, so it is import. Right now, if I want to just see what are the functions available from this function, I should not get, right? I don't have add number, right? So let's import this function. Import module, right? Import this, not function but module actually. So import module. The now what I will do, my demo PSD1. So instead of using PSM1 that we were doing earlier, we will be using PowerShell module manifest file to load this module, and it will control what are the things has to, I mean, happen according to, PowerShell version, function to export, commandlet to export and all. So if I will do this, And let's see if we have the function available. Right, add NuGet, add numbers, we have it. Let's see if we have subtract number, sub number, we have it, right? So but what we found that subtract number is something we want to have in module, but we don't want to expose it to the user so that they can use it. So for that, what I will do, we can update this value here, either directly editing, okay, or we can make use of update module manifest, okay, and there you can mention the field that you want to update. So here we want to update function to export, so I will simply type and it will give us the option. So instead of here, now this time let's try to update it from directly in the file. That is also possible. So what I will do, function to export, I will simply say add numbers, right? So add numbers is the only function that I want to expose. Comma separated values that you will provide. So I will just provide add numbers. Here commandlet to export, I will remove it. So nothing will be exported from the commandlet. Here there is no commandlet. So I will just add numbers will be exposed. Subtract number should not be exposed. So now let's, I have saved it. Let's kill this session. And let's load the module again using the PowerShell module manifest. Yeah, PSD1, right? Now let's try to see if I have add numbers here. I have add numbers. Let's try to see if I have subtract number. Nope, right? Nope, I don't have that. So this is how you use the module in, and this is how you can start module development. Pretty much simple, nothing to, there are so many other things that you would like to have. You would like to know what exactly it is. I mean, there are some new alias exporter in this slide that right for the time being, you can skip it because this is a, I mean, you can do the same thing using the manifest file, and that is the recommended thing. So that's why we have used that one. So that is how you can kind of start developing your PowerShell module. And in upcoming session, I will try to show you how to develop your module in a more better way, and how you can set up a CI/CD pipeline for your module to publish on PowerShell Gallery, that is public gallery, so that you can kind of share your module just like people have shared here. PowerShell Gallery, uh, there are many numbers of module that has been uh, kind of developed by different people, open, I mean, and they have exposed as a public module for any kind of work. So if you have something, some logic that you think it is good to share, then you can develop your module and share it publicly so that people can download and they can use in their environment. That's it for today, and we will come back with some exciting topic again. Thank you so much.